And so begins another episode of Jason Sims Says Hello. Please welcome your host, Jason Sims. Hello, I'm Jason Sims. You're listening to the third episode of my podcast, and I'm sitting here appreciating that. I keep a small leather-bound book in my vest pocket, close to my heart. And the cover of this volume reads, Jason's Podcasting Rules. On page 11, it says, and I quote, "A podcast shall not officially be a podcast until it has put out at least 3 episodes." End quote. So with this episode, we are now officially a podcast according to a set of arbitrary rules that I created out of thin air. I'll take it. You can find all the links associated with this podcast at jason-sims.tumblr.com/sayshello. Now I know that's an ugly URL, but you know what? Sometimes the world's ugly, and we just have to muster up the strength to deal with it. Besides, it only takes like 10 seconds to type it. Now I would tell you that I have a good show for you today, but let me be frank with you. I will always tell you that I have a good show for you. If you're hearing this, that means that when I wrote, recorded, and edited it, I thought that it was good enough for you to hear it. And if at any point in that process, I hadn't thought that it was good enough for you to hear it, you would not be hearing it. So from now on, if you're hearing something on this podcast, you can assume that I thought it was good. Hey, do y'all like zombies? Well, here's a horde of zombies.
Whoa, excuse me.
Nope, excuse me. I'm the one that shambled into you.
I don't know words, man.
Hey, didn't you used to be, I want to say Tom,
Tommy Jefferson.
Jefferson. Yeah, that's it. Tommy Jefferson. Hey, man, long time no see. You're looking pretty good considering.
Yeah, I only joined up about a week ago.
Okay, great.
I'm sorry, I can't quite place your face.
I would be surprised if my own sweet mother recognized my face at this point. Blah, am I right? I was Jim Ferris.
Oh, down at the bank.
Yep, down at the bank. Till about 2 months ago when I took up with this bunch of knuckleheads.
Huh. Well, you don't look too bad for 2 months.
Oh, thanks. It's all the exercise. Seriously though, I do enjoy the walking and being outside, fresh air, sunshine, exercise. Beats being behind a desk.
I know, man. That's one of the real perks of this thing. I mean, I've certainly had worse gigs.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, I looked, but I couldn't find my shoe. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Who's this you're talking to?
Honey, this was Tommy. Who ran the little hardware store down on the corner?
Jefferson Hardware. I remember that. I think it burned.
Yes, ma'am. That whole block burned, as I recall.
Funny thing, and it's just coming back to me now, we actually set that block on fire before, to distract the little horde away from where we were hiding down at the bank. Oh, I hope you weren't in there.
Nah, I was just on the other side of town looking for my parents.
Wow, it really is a small world.
Never found them.
Where are my manners? Tommy, this was my wife, Sherry.
Hello.
Somebody couldn't take the hint about till death do us part. I mean, what have I got to do to unlock this ball and chain? Yeah, we have a lot of laughs. Honey, Tommy and I were just talking about some of the perks of the condition, so to speak.
Oh, I like that we get to be outside a lot.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Another thing? I used to have this nagging, I guess I'd call it a dread of death. And it'd pop up easily, like 2 or 3 times a day. I mean, more if I didn't keep busy.
Oh, yeah, that was the worst.
So, I don't miss that.
You know what the best part is, though? And I never would have guessed it?
What's that?
Eating people.
Oh, I know!
Oh, yeah. I mean, that really is the best.
And like I said, I never would have guessed it, though.
I mean, if I had known how great that was, I wouldn't have fought this for so long.
Good times. Tommy, I'm surprised I hadn't run into you yet since you've been here for about a week.
Well, I was part of a different little group. from the other side of town. There's about a dozen or so of us.
Uh-huh.
And the pickings were getting pretty slim over there, so we were just making our way over Highway 7, and it's all bumper to bumper, stalled cars.
Well, there's your problem. I mean, you should have taken Elm and then, dog-legged over to 2nd. I mean, Highway 7 was on the evacuation route.
Well, yeah, I know that, but our fastest guy was this dude from out of town that just happened to have long legs, and he was the fastest and up in front, so everybody just followed him.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do. So we got hung up in those stalled cars. Oh, and then some army guys in a helicopter come flying over, dropping napalm everywhere.
Those jerks. Yeah, your tax dollars at work, right?
Yeah, for real. Well, then what was left of us kept on, trucking, and we eventually ran into your horde, I think just a couple of days ago, right as we were all crossing the city limits.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a pretty good horde, Everybody just kind of keeps to themselves, minds their own business. No complaints.
Oh, me and Sonny love it so far.
Oh, who's Sonny?
Oh, that's my girlfriend.
I wonder if she was anybody I knew. Sonny, what's her last name?
Oh, it was Jones. She's Sonny Jones.
From Channel 4? The weather lady?
Yep.
Wowee, hey, she was pretty easy on the eyes.
Hey, watch it, mister.
Honey, I'm dead, not married. Yeah, a lot of laughs.
So, did you two meet before, or?
Oh, after. I mean, we didn't even know each other before. We moved in very different circles. She had joined up about a week before I did, so, when we met, she kind of showed me the ropes, and, yeah, she did get a little singed, back when they dropped that napalm on us, but I have to say that, she's still rocking my world.
I've been thinking about getting singed myself, just to add a little color.
Oh, y'all should talk. I mean, she could give you some tips. So, you guys know where we're headed? I mean, I'm getting a bit hungry.
Oh, I'm starving.
Yeah, me too.
So hungry.
If I remember my geography, we should be coming across some farms soon.
Oh, good. It'll be so good, to get some locally grown food.
Yeah, real salt of the earth people.
Hey, there's a house. Looks empty. Yeah, smells like they done dipped.
Oh, that one looks promising.
Yeah, boards on the windows. It's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little whiff of something there. That's fear. Oh man, I'm hungry.
Ah, bingo.
Y'all, I hate to run, but I am starving. I'm gonna get in there.
Hey, Tommy, slow down there, buddy.
What?
Here's a pro tip. I've found that it's best to just let those dum-dums in the front, catch the facefuls of buckshot and rip the boards off the window. And then, right after the people run out of ammo, you just swoop in there and clean up.
That's pretty good thinking.
Oh, yeah. It's just like a foreclosure on a house with a subprime mortgage.
And that'll give you some time to go find Sonny, and we can make it a double date.
Huh, yeah, that sounds good. All right, I'll see y'all shortly.
Tommy Jefferson. Honey, I'm glad we ran into him. He's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, he seems to be a nice guy.
Well, we're getting closer, so probably need to get in character. I love you, sweetie.
Aw, I love you too.
I'd kiss you, but I don't have any lips.
I know.
Okay, here we go. Blank stare and...
Rawr.
I don't ever want to be dragged out of a boarded up house kicking and screaming and then eaten alive, but if it has to happen, I hope the people who do it are as nice as those people seem to be. One of my main reasons for doing this podcast is to kind of get my writing out there a little more, because I would like to maybe write for television or movies one day, but really the secret desire of my heart as a writer is to someday write for the Didjaknows. When you go to a movie and before the movie starts, they show you these bits of trivia like, did you know Ben Affleck's from Boston? Those are the Didjaknows. And they're really hard to break into because there's only like 3 guys that write them. So I've been trying to write some Didjaknows, trying to go a little deeper than Ben Affleck is from Boston. So if you don't mind, I'd like to share a few of those with you now. All right, you guys remember Edward James Olmos, who was Admiral Adama on Battlestar Galactica? Did you know Edward James Olmos has a parasitic twin named Edward James Almost? Well, he does. Do y'all like Game of Thrones? You know George R.R. Martin, the gentleman who created those novels that the TV show's based on. Okay. Did you know the RRs in George R.R. Martin each stand for R.R. Martin? And this recursion goes on forever, making it impossible to ritually bind him. Well, they do. All right, you know Guy Fieri from Food Network? Did you know Guy Fieri actually patented his look with the U.S. Patent Office? And when you patent anything with the Patent Office, you have to give it a legal name. The legal name of Guy Fieri's look is recently divorced high school football coach who's getting back into the bar scene. Bonus, did you know he achieves that thing that his hair does through a liberal application of garlic mayo, aka donkey sauce? Well, he does. In addition to writing Didjaknows, also keep a diary. I mean, I haven't written an update in it in a while because I figured out it was getting kind of boring. I mean, nobody in 100 years is going to care about my Netflix queue. But the last entry in it just says, woke up with a sense of doom today. I am going to die. And every morning I just erase the date on that entry and I write in that day's date. Eventually, that's going to pay off. Hey, do y'all like fishing? Here's a couple of good old boys fishing.
You get anything, Royce?
No, just some algae.
Well, they just ain't biting today.
Reckon they ain't. Maybe we shouldn't waste the whole day out here.
What are you thinking?
Well, Benji, my boy, I'm thinking that we go into town, drink us a couple cold beers, and get some food in our bellies.
Well, you know where I love to go when I go into town?
Where?
I love to go to Hooters.
Yeah, buddy, I heard that.
When that waitress comes to the table, you know what I'm looking to see if she's got.
What?
You know. A couple of them dipping sauces. They really do have the best dipping sauces in the chicken business, in my opinion.
Well, that may be so, but we both know that's not the reason that most people go there.
Well, I just said it was my opinion.
I understand. But what me and all the other fellers I know go there for is the wings themselves, not just what you dip them in.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They make a good wing, but I'm just a sauce man.
I can dig it. It's just with a lot of places, you eat the wings and you get the feeling that they're just serving you any old meat off of any old chicken. But when I get a morsel of a Hooters wing in my mouth, the quality hitting my taste buds leaves me with the impression that they really care, you know? I think I do. Like, they're probably sending a feller out to check on the conditions at the chicken farm where their chickens come from. You know, to make sure that them chickens is happy enough to be Hooters chickens.
Maybe so.
They just seem like a company that would, you know, go the extra mile like that for customers, all I'm saying.
Yeah, you know, they really do seem like... Whoa! Hey, I think I got something. Shoot. It's a stick. And more algae.
Well, we could develop a taste for algae.
You know what I don't like about Hooters?
What's that?
The way they make those waitresses dress.
I mean, it just strikes me as, I don't really even know what the word I'm looking for is, but
Exploitive?
yes, thank you. It'd be one thing if it was voluntary, but I've been to a few different Hooters in my day, and as far as I can tell, they make all of them girls and all of them Hooters dressed like that.
You know what's funny?
What?
Well, I never really thought of it before you brought up the dress code, which was spot on and observant of you.
Thank you.
I'm starting to think the name Hooters might be a bit of a double entendre.
What's a double entendre?
Well, my daddy always said that a double entendre was a word or expression capable of two interpretations, with one usually risque. From the French for double meaning. First use 1673.
So you're saying the name Hooters refers to the owl in their logo, and also... Oh, I just got that.
Me too.
Well, that's just offensive. That settles it. I ain't going back to that place ever again, no matter how good them sweet sauces are.
Yeah, I reckon from here on out I'll be spending my chicken dollar down at the Zaxby's. Even though I find their bird to be of an inferior quality, their all-American decor is jaunty and playful, and I find their overall vibe to be more in line with my values.
Me too. Hey, Royce.
Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned about your daddy always saying that thing about double whatever it was.
Entendre.
Right, double that. Anyway, I thought you never knew your daddy.
Well, when I said my daddy, I meant Merriam-Webster's dictionary. I spent a lot of time reading it growing up on account of my mama not being around to spend time with me because she is so busy working and taking care of my brothers and sisters, and I guess that dictionary was the only father I ever knew.
Fair enough. Nothing again. Royce?
Yeah.
You ever considered that maybe we should be using bait on these here hooks?
Well, I've given it some thought, and it just seems coercive to me to put bait on a fish hook. It's like you're taking advantage of some poor down on its luck fish, tempting it with the promise of a tasty meal, and then wham, it's got a mouthful of cold steel.
Okay, I can see that, I guess.
Strikes me as a bit duplicitous is all. And if you want to know what my daddy says about being duplicitous, well, you can go look it up. Well, that's it for me. They don't want to be caught today. I respect your decision, fish. So you want to get in the truck and go to Zaxby's?
Sure. Royce?
Yeah.
Me and you's kind of odd, ain't we? We kind of see things in a different way. Not like most folks.
Yeah, Benji, I guess you're right. We're not like most folks.
That's probably why me and you's such good friends, ain't it?
Yep. I reckon it is. Yeah, I'm glad those two fellas found each other. And I'm glad that I found my friend Trevor Britton. And I'm also glad, and I want to thank him for letting me use his recording equipment to make this podcast. In fact, I have recorded every episode on it so far, and I'm speaking into it right now. So Trevor, without you letting me use this stuff, this podcast would sound a lot worse. I also want to thank you for your continued encouragement of all my endeavors and for your amazing head of hair, both of which inspire me daily. Guess who else is awesome? There's an iTunes subscriber with the handle Aggie Strife. They left me my first review on iTunes. They said that this thing was, and I quote, hilarious, intelligent, and fresh.
and they gave it 5 stars. So thank you so much, Aggie Strife, along with a handful of other iTunes listeners who also rated the podcast. And so now we have enough ratings to have a 5-star rating on iTunes, whatever that's worth. But I do appreciate it. So if you like the show and you listen on iTunes, please feel free to do the same. Also, somebody left a 4-star review, and I respect that. I really respect that, because it's the easiest thing in the world just to go, yeah, 5 stars. But so I appreciate your opinion, and I will try to earn that final star. Everything in this episode was written, produced, and performed by me, Jason Sims, except for most of the zombie noises in the zombie sketch. I found those online, and most of them did not require attribution, but one of them did require attribution, done under Creative Commons attribution license. It's done by a user who goes by the name Slave to the Light, and I will have some more information in the show notes to properly attribute that person. But thanks to everybody who puts up sounds online for people to use. They're very, very handy. On Twitter, I'm at Jason_Sims. You can subscribe to the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher, or via our RSS feed. You can listen to these episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/House of Sims. You can email questions and comments to email jasonsims@gmail.com. And again, you can find all of these links and all this information at the aforementioned ugly URL, jason-sims.tumblr.com/sayshello. Hey, do y'all like the end of podcasts? Well, here's my announcer to end this podcast.
And so ends another episode of Jason Sims Says Hello. Once again, here's your host, Jason Sims.
Goodbye.